Hey guys, so it's Hannah Lynn from Communications 101. And I'm just doing my video discussion board response thing. So three things that I really found interesting so far, bringing us in the course. One would be perception. I mean, duh, I chose it as a leadership discussion question because it really did interest me about how certain ways of presenting yourself affects how other people see you, which in turn affects you in their treatment of how they treat you and such. Another thing I really found interesting was the leadership styles, and this was in like the very recent chapter we've been having, and I never thought about it that way. How that there's more than one type of leader in a group, because normally when you think about leaders and groups, you think about it in a business setting and that there's one leader and he's the boss and then there are the employees and stuff. And so it was just interesting that there are many different leaders within a group. Another thing would be listening preferences. I found it really fascinating, and this was a while back, probably earlier than perception, about some people are time um oriented listeners, and some other people, I have them all right here, are action oriented, content oriented, and people oriented, and just how you can categorize different people in these different groupings and such, about how some people, what's on their mind is the person and the relationship, whereas for other people it's the how quick can they get this task done and such. So anyways, what I look for in other people when I'm have to be in a group setting with some others is definitely availability. Not only are they available, but do they want to be available? Something that I really take into consideration for being in a group would be, does this person show up frequently to class? I mean, of course, I don't have a perfect record. There are days where I'm sick or just off days where I can't come because of work and stuff, but do they at least 90% of the time come to class? Because if you're not in class, you don't know the material, and that will have an effect on doing your job in the group. So that's something I really pay attention to. Another thing is, you don't have to be the brightest crayon in the box, but if you try, that goes just the extra mile as far as other team members going in your group. So I've just found from work experience and just life in general, if a person is trying their best, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna do a pretty good job. So I don't care if you're the smartest or the most talented, I just care if you try. Um, and then it also comes down to people I can communicate well with. But I don't know if I would say that's something I'm looking for in this specific group. I tend to look for that in other groups, but I don't know. I feel like there wouldn't be that much of a challenge if there were people. I'm open to people being in my group who I can't communicate with well, because then I'll be learning from that, essentially, is what I'm saying. So where do I fit inside the group spectrum? I naturally would be not a leader, not necessarily a follower, but a second in command. Um, I I will be that person in a group. If nobody steps up to be the leader, sure, whatever, I'll do it. But I'm not enthusiastic on being the leader. It's not my prime area where I feel the most comfortable. But I am willing to do it. I'm not afraid to lead. And then just according to the book and stuff, I would fall more along the supportive part. I would say I do look out for people emotionally. I do try to keep the peace in any type of group setting, whether that be friends or family or stuff like that. And then also participative. I'm not authoritative in saying, hey, you go over and do this, and Jimmy, go over do that and stuff. But I will say, okay, so something that I should, something I need to bring up, guys, is when are we going to be able to get together and do this? Hey, what's your schedule? What's your schedule? And put all that together. That's something I've done for one of my other classes, is organize a study group. Now, I'm not leading the group in studying, but I organize all the times and book the library room and all of the stuff like that. So I would say I'm supportive and participative in that sense, because I will bring to the table some things that we need to address that aren't addressed, but I won't necessarily solve them. Next, I am definitely more feel at ease working. I definitely love working in groups instead of individually. I mean, as you can probably tell, I'm a people person. And so, and I find it more motivating when I'm in a group, because I feel like, oh, I gotta make sure this grade is spot on, because it's not just me here, it's everybody else, and I feel more pressure, and so in turn I feel more motivated, and I so I tend to produce better work when I'm in a group environment versus on my own. And also, I just think it's very valuable to have second opinions, and such, and whatever that saying is, two heads are better than one, and such, and I truly believe in that. And of course, there's room for clashing, but overall, I think it really improves whatever you're working on versus working alone. So, that's about all I have here. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and please feel more than free to comment down below. Bye.